10 years ago, I just finished my PhD in chemistry, and specifically in chemoinformatics. And during my PhD, I remember I visited ChemAxon when you were still in the mountain over there in this home. And I was impressed as a student, this company working in a home, the office in the bedroom, the meeting room in the basement, and it was very funny. So happy birthday, guys. I was visiting ChemAxon because I was working on a project which was calculate similarity index for reactions by coding the transformation of the reactions in a mathematical object. And I did this during my PhD, and it was working well, so we patented the technology, and I created a company named NovAlix. The goal of this company was to be able to use both what works, success experiments, and what doesn't work, failed experiments. By meaning failed experiments, I mean experiments that we never published, because it's not good enough to be published. And this is 97% of what we do as scientists. So this means that we are losing a lot of knowledge. So the idea of NovAlix was to be able to access this data and to extract knowledge from it with the algorithms that I developed during my PhD. To do this, we need to access and collect this data. And that's how we started to develop an ELN. So this is 10 years from now, and it didn't work as expected, because the scientists don't really want to publish their data, even if it's failed experiment. So we get to a point where the core business of the company can't work because we didn't have enough data. So last year, we decided to close the company. But we had some users and some customers which was using the ELN, so they didn't want us to stop this part. So one of us buy the company, buy the ELN, and that's why now I'm working in NovAlix, developing this ELN for them. They wanted to keep the ELN because they wanted to keep that data, of course. They also wanted to improve the UI, which is web-based since the beginning. And they also wanted to integrate their own inventory. So I will show you a little bit what we did and what we are planned to fulfill this. So first, the UI. 10 years ago, we were using ChemAxon, okay, because it's a good product, and also Silverlight and Java. But as you know, in new browsers, Silverlight and Java are no longer supported, so we cannot use it anymore. So we have to switch to something more modern. So we still keep ChemAxon, but by using now Marvin.js. And we switch to something like this, perhaps you know, React.js, Redux, and MaterialUI. So basically, we wanted to go from this kind of interface, okay, this is an ELN, okay, to this kind of things. So it's the same, basically, but not the same technology, and this one is not usable right now in modern browsers, and this one is now. And of course, we base everything on ChemAxon and specifically on Marvin.js to draw the experiments. So I will not spend too much time speaking about architecture and version and so on. Just to know, we have a data server, a UI servers, and here is the users. Here we put everything we need, including ChemAxon for storing molecules, reactions, name to structures, and so on. We also use Marvin.js services here, and of course our own services to pilot the ELN. And here we have the UI. Where? Okay, the UI where we store everything else. The goal for the user, and this is what is important, that there is nothing to install. Of course, it's web-based. It can work on any OS, any browser, and is full responsive, which wasn't the case when we were using Silverlight and Java. Okay, ChemAxon asked me to speak about the challenges that I meet by using ChemAxon and Marvin.js. Sorry, guys, I find nothing. Okay, this is not just to say thank you to you guys, but it's the truth. Installing using is simple as a charm. The only thing that was a little bit stressing was to regenerate the database, because we were using a very old version of ChemAxon, and we have to switch to the new one. I think for Marvin.js, we was using the version 5 dot something, and now it's 18 dot something, so we have to make some database regeneration. So we just follow the instruction on the website. We create just a little function. We open the console. Okay, it's a little bit for IT guys, but I want to show you this anyway. So we regenerate the GChem molecule and GChem reaction. We launch everything, and we just wait and pray. Because I wasn't sure it would work, because the gap between the version was very, very, very big. And we wait a long time, 5 to 6 hours, just to regenerate all the molecule and reaction tables. And at the end, surprisingly, it works perfectly. Oh, I was worried about this, because it was a huge gap. So, but it works, no problem. We just relaunched the system, and it was working as before. And now I just want to talk a little bit about how we integrate and what we do with Marvin.js. Here is the ELN, so you can see here structure, reactions. But everything here is only SVG pictures. And it's the same for the inventory. It's also here SVG pictures. Why we did this is because when we started, we didn't know if we wanted to keep ChemAxon or not. So here, if we put SVG pictures, if I change, I can just regenerate some other picture from another third-party system, and I still can work with my system here. Yeah, sorry. How we did this, we have some function here on the UI side, and another one on the server side, which will generate the pictures. And what we also do, we have had something different, because here, in the chemical scheme, we have some information on the arrow, and we didn't want the user to put by hand this information here. The information has to come from the equivalence table, which is here. So when you open the drawer, we remove everything here. And if the user tries to put something on the arrow, we eliminate also everything. So this means that we have to regenerate the picture to put the right information here. This is what we did. Then displaying the drawing tool, again, it's very, very easy. Just follow the instruction. I will not spend too much time here. This is some code. If you were in the developer workshop yesterday, you can recognize that we have to configure the web service, configure the display, the toolbar. And here we just store the editor to prevent to regenerate it every time the user needs it. Okay, this is how we did it. We also have some customized button to get the information and to store it in the database. And we store, okay, this is it. So as a conclusion, and I still have a lot of time, so I was fast. So we still have some work to do to finish the integration of the inventory, because at NovAlix they had their own inventory, we had our own, and we have to mix both information. They also want to add some bar scanner. Using ChemAxon was very easy and convenient. I mean, in the whole project, the challenges wasn't here in using ChemAxon. It was in some other things and to please the users. The only question that I have, and I had a discussion yesterday with a developer of Marvin.js, is to use it in iPads and tablets. We have a lot of users asking for it. And I don't really know how Marvin.js works on this kind of things. But at the end, the thing is that I never see a user, a chemist, bringing tablets into the lab. So they ask for it, but I don't really know if it's really needed. And I'd be happy to answer questions if there is some.
Just a quick comment. You can use Marvin.js on tablet, but it's not optimized for tablets. So.
Well, I have a question related to the time, for regeneration time. It seems you are quite a patient guy. But for me, 6 hours for a few hundred, so under 1 million of structure, that's a long time. And did you go after it? Why was it? Or because we also do some testing on this question, that regeneration and index creation for such data size. And for us, it's about 20 minutes or something like that. But I don't think, maybe Chiz is buying us some supercomputers or quantum computers nowadays. But you didn't go after it. What was you just accepted?
Yeah, I just accept. It was working, so I was so happy that I say, okay, yes, it works.
I'm happy for
yeah.
this.